Welcome to Auto Guild. In this video, we are going to talk about the best LS engine for any budget level. Let's get started with super low budget. If you've only got a few $100s and you want to get an LS engine for your vehicle, these 4.8 liter engines, they're practically giving them away. These were found in the basic entry-level bare bones work trucks, vans, you know, the ones with the steel wheels and the really basic interiors. There's not a huge price difference between these 4.8 liter engines between the old and the new. So try to find one with low miles. Try to find an LY2 or L20, one of the more newer ones that maybe might have a little bit more later technology. These are also really great for turbo applications. There are plenty of articles and videos out there of people strapping turbos to these engines right out of the junkyard, making 500 horsepower. If you want to do that, maybe the L20 is the better engine. It's got the lower compression ratio. So you could crank up the boost a little bit, but I'm not a huge turbo guy, so if there are any turbo people out there, let us know in the comments which one of these is the best one. So again, these LS engines aren't magic. There's not a lot of horsepower here. This engine's a little bit kind of a dog. 275 horsepower is not much, but with a cam swap, some headers, and an intake, they can really come alive. Let's jump into low budget. So if you've got a couple of grand to spend right around there, the 5.3 iron block, this is the high volume engine of the truck lineup. These engines are also super easy to find. If you do buy one of these engines, try to make sure and get everything with the engine. Don't buy an engine that's missing items like an ECU or sensors or even the pulley system. You want to try to get everything with the engine that you can. It's less important if you're planning to run a carburetor, but getting all the electronics to talk to each other is really critical. So try to grab one with the transmission too as well, especially if you're running an automatic, one of those electronic automatics. Also remember, the only thing that the LS shares in common with the old Chevy small block is the bore spacing and the transmission mounting bolt locations. You're not going to be able to use anything off your old small block Chevy on these engines, so you will need to grab everything when you buy one of these engines. With the LM7 or the LMF, a simple cam swap and some ECU tune, you can get 350 horsepower from these engines, so it's a really great swap. Remember too that these old truck engines come with the tall intake manifold. It may not fit under the hood of your application. It's really tall, but a lot of people also think it's really ugly. So if you're concerned about the appearance of your engine, the tall manifold may not be the way to go. Next level is the mid-budget. Here you've got more modern 5.3s as well as the slightly older but larger 6-liter engines. You're still talking iron blocks, but now you've got some more modern technology, some better cylinder heads, and a little bit higher horsepower, up to 325 to 350 now. The LQ9 is the best one here. This engine was in the Escalade and those early Silverado SS engines and made 345 horsepower. The LQ4 is available on other high-end trucks and SUVs. You can see the list here. If you're digging this information and all these details, please give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing if you want more information like this. So I recommend for these, head over to eBay, type in LQ9 engine, then select the used option. You'll see a whole bunch of these, many with warranties and many even with transmissions included, as well as all the other accessories. High budget. You're starting to get in some real money here, $2,500 to $4,500. The prices jump up for these for sure. But so does the horsepower. You're up to 400 horsepower here for most of these engines, and they are now aluminum, which is also real nice. The LS6 and the LS2 can actually be a bit more than the L92 in its variants because those are car engines. They have the car intake. They're a little bit more desirable, and the volumes of those vehicles sold in smaller volumes, so they're a little bit harder to find. As you can see from the list, the L92 and its variants were much more common and therefore easier to find. Sometimes these trucks tend to have higher miles though, because they're mostly used as daily drivers, whereas vehicles like a Corvette or a Cadillac CTS, they may only be weekend vehicles, so you can often find those with lower miles. I should also mention here that I have a history video on the LS engine that shows every single LS engine by year. It's really cool. It's like, I think it's kind of going to blow you away. There's tons of information there, and I'll have a link to that at the end of this video, so stick around. It's what I'm calling super high. In this area, you can get into an engine for around $4,000, but you can actually get a new one for about $7,500 direct from GM. A brand new LS3. Of course, it doesn't include a lot of the accessories and things like that, but still brand new with a warranty. And do you really need more than 430 horsepower? Actually, 430 horsepower in my crappy old 68 Camaro chassis really scares me to death. But if you want the best LS engine, price, drivability, modernity, lightweight aluminum, this is really the one to get. The L99 is also an option on the used side. That is the slightly detuned version that was available in the Camaro with the automatic transmission. I have a link below on the LS3, and also please subscribe if you're digging this information. We have the extreme budget level. New, you can spend up to $17,000 for these engines. As you can see, they're ultra rare engines on specialty cars. They're kind of ridiculous. They're really hard to find if you're buying used. And they're still super, super expensive even if you're buying used. I've got links below if you want to read up on these engines. They're pretty amazing. Okay, let's wrap it up with an overview of all the recommended engines. Most of the engines here are Gen 4. They're just better. They have the latest cylinder heads. Yes, there's intake and some other things, but really, this is the reason why the LS engine is so great. It's the cylinder heads. They're super special, and as the engine has evolved, so too have the cylinder heads. So the LS engines that are newer, that have come out more recently, they tend to have the better cylinder heads and will perform better, and those are the engines that you should be targeting if you're looking to maximize horsepower. If you're looking for a used engine, the trucks engines are really the best one. They built millions of these things, and they're all over the junkyards. 5.3 in the trucks is really hard to beat. They're super plentiful, as I said. They're practically giving them away. What you have to remember, though, is that it's going to take a few $1,000s more just to get this engine inside your vehicle. You can't just look at the LR4 or LY2 4.8 and say, oh, I'm going to go pick one of those up at the junkyard for a couple $100 with 100,000 miles on it and throw it in my project. You're still going to have to pay for motor mounts, headers, exhaust work, possibly cooling system, wire harnesses if it's not included with the vehicle, even the e-throttle pedal if you go with a more recent engine, the transmission cross member or adapters. You may have to shorten the drive shaft. Of course, you're absolutely going to have to do some sort of fuel system change if you're swapping over from a carburetor. Let me know if you're interested. I can do a more detailed video on everything you need to pull off a swap on your vehicle. My only really complaint with the 5.3 is that they're mostly iron blocks. The aluminum 5.3s are hard to find. Remember, less weight equals better acceleration, better handling, better braking, better fuel economy. So you really want those aluminum engines if you can pull it off. This issue is going to depend on your project and your budget. And also, if you're doing any swaps, or if you've done this swap recently or even a while ago, let us know what you did. Let us know your experience. That would think will help the whole community here, and it will certainly help me. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck with your project.